Back here with the CEN Matrix R2. It's got the Duratrax 3.5 in it. And the reason we pulled this engine was because it was having carb issues. It was leaking. But lo and behold, found another carb. But it's missing one of the O-rings. The reason the old carb was leaking fuel was because these old O-rings are just so dried out, worn out. The fuel is just bypassing them. They're rock hard. And they're not even like round anymore. So there's fuel just pissing out of the high-speed needle housing. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. I mean, the parts are still good if I can get the right size O-rings. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, see how fresh it feels, get it installed in this engine, and then reinstall the engine. So I want to drive this thing. As you can see, it still has the old fuel in it. I haven't touched it in a while. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so the new carburetor is installed. And I just test started it. It will start, but I am going to have to make some adjustments. So I'm going to go ahead and try to find a air filter, and I'm going to get a receiver and a battery for this so I can properly test it. But the silver lining is it did start. So this new carburetor does work. The engine still works. So I'm going to take this out to the track tomorrow after I get it running. I cleared off the track today, so that's going to be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and find those pieces I need, get this thing ready for running tomorrow. Alright, so I got the air filter on, the battery's all charged. I'm going to see if it'll start. Well, gonna have to charge that radio. We know it'll start, and yeah, so we'll get this out there and see how it does with this new carb. It's gonna be nice to drive this around now that the area has been cleared of leaves. Have a clean slate to drive this on, get that carburetor tuned. There's no leaks or anything yet, so that's good news. Alright, so got the buggy outside. It ended up raining out the day I was going to take it out, so it's a couple days later, it's starting to dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing started up, see if it runs, and if it does, I'll record it, and if it doesn't, I'll report back with what the issues were. So I just realized that the rear brakes are only being engaged. The fronts aren't even engaging it. I'll show you in a minute. But if I drive it any more than this, it just stalls out. It's very boggy. I don't know what the tune is for this carburetor, so I'm gonna save tuning this for my buddy Joe. He got my TC3 running in 5 minutes. So with this new carburetor, I definitely think that Joe won't have any issues. But yeah, this car looks good moving. This isn't very exciting, but at least we know it works with the new carburetor. It definitely just needs a proper tune. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to give it some throttle, so you see why I'll need Joe. So that's it. No matter where I have the tune, same issue occurs. I was messing with this and I found some results, and I find that, you know, somewhere in this range, this midpoint works. There's no regular low-speed needle here, so it's really just finding out what's going on there. Joe will know better than I. I also need to find the idle, mess with the radio and the receiver settings. I gotta reset this. Make sure there's a set screw in here, and make sure the spring is tight. And I'll show you what I mean by the brakes. So you can see under there that the I forget what you call these things, but that under there on the brake link doesn't even engage. So just some more little tuning that needs to be done with this before I can actually run it. But at least we know there's no major leaks from the carb. The only oil really comes from, you know, outside the crankcase where the flywheel disperses that. But I was even worried about this exhaust gasket as well, but that seems not to be leaking, so that's good. Yeah, the HPI parts on here actually are pretty good. Got the buggy shocks, some hot racing buggy wheels, this buggy or truggy pipe. I will want to replace these servos. They're kind of weak for this application, but they'll hold us over until we get it running, really. So yeah, that's what's going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside and bring it back out with Joe. Have him help me get this running proper, and get on to the next one. Thanks for checking it out.